And
care
loads of
about that.
people actually, like, weirdly, loads of people hop into chats like halfway through just to say hello. And
Yeah,
then
wait,
go
a lot
back.
of people, but this is still not an excuse for just not spoilering your own shows half the time.
I don't care about the spoiler. I just care about not doing it at the beginning of your show.
Yes.
Spoiler, but I
You
don't give a
better
fuck
not.
about.
Anyway, hi. Welcome to Stars of Our Number. It's week 7.
I don't care about spoilers. Spoilers make me happy.
Yeah, you are, like... You're the people I
Don't
hate.
say what you wanted to say. You can't say that on stream.
Snape killed Dumbledore.
Well.
Happy.
So,
What if you legitimately just ruined that?
as you can tell, there's a lacking of energy and spirit and love because we no longer have Will. All downgrades in quality should be
I
directed
have 2 character
to
sheets. I'm in a great mood.
Scott. Why do you have 2 character sheets?
Because I have the emblem.
Everyone has the emblem, yeah.
But I have 2 character sheets. I'm in a great mood.
I had that in like Eberron, but when like one time, because I slowly started collecting other people's character sheets to like tweak things on them while they weren't there. It was great. Anyway, hey, welcome. It's been a week since the last time we played, but it feels like a lot longer. I've had a long week. I think Scott's had a long week.
I slept a lot.
When I sleep a lot, it feels like a long time though.
For me, it's like I slept. So here's the weird thing. Like, I'm not gonna waste too much time with this, but
Feel free.
Like when I sleep a lot, like I usually hate it. It's one of those things where I'm like, ugh. But like the first night that I slept a crap ton, I was like, I could sleep more. And I slept a second night where I just slept like again, it was about 22 hours, just shy of for 2 days worth. And then then that third day came around. I was like, I kind of could go for like another 8 to 10 hours. But instead, I got 3.5 because I was on the doxies. Then
that was me today. That was me like waking up like 2 hours ago and being like, I could call the show off and sleep like the rest of the day.
Right? Like it was like, and that's so unusual because usually like I'm like, okay, good, I got to sleep, let's go. But I was like, I don't know.
You don't sleep like at all.
It was bad because like on Sunday night.
It is bad. Full stop.
No, on
Doctor
Sunday
speaking.
night.
Close enough.
What was it? Well, it's not usually my choice, right? So on Sunday night, like I literally fell asleep on my living room floor. This is how it started. I fell asleep on my living room floor to even help put my daughter to bed, right? And so I slept like all night long. And then the next day, like I was hung out with my daughter for a little bit, like after like put her to bed. She always like wants to sit in the chair for me a little. And then like I come downstairs, my wife's sitting on the couch. I kind of lie on the couch, but like my head on her lap. Within 5 minutes, I was just out until the next day.
Oh, that's
like
sweet.
But it was like zombie. It wasn't like cute cuddling.
Yeah,
was
no,
just,
like the true deep, like I need this sleep to function sleep. Yeah.
Like she would have to remove her pants, peel them from her body, and take a shower to get the drool off of her.
Oh, okay. I
like,
really
deep sleep,
wondered
you know?
where that was gonna go, as you described your wife undressing.
No, like drool down the
No,
thigh.
yeah,
like,
I drool a lot too. I get that moment of like you like waking up and you roll over and like, it's my drool puddle.
yeah. It's like a special deep sleep, like a good one. Right,
Anyway, speaking of deep sleep, we're actually, if you're ready to start, we're actually starting off in the middle of drama. Where we're starting off, what happened last week? Ian, why don't you recap what happened last week?
Things.
Us with on Ardent.
Ollie is so done with me already.
This is the precedent. The rest of the next 4 hours are gonna fucking be.
You know, the precedent for the next 4 hours is 10 minutes of random crap at the start of a stream.
Yeah, but that's
No.
regular for Wednesdays.
Yeah.
It feels weird when we don't have a random conversation on Wednesdays.
I can recap last if you'd like.
I do remember it. So basically, we pulled Davis out of his emo phase.
Whoa! It's like emo when your husband dies.
Had a funeral for what's his name, Jason.
Wow.
Wow! Ian, you're done. You're done,
all right.
son.
Get him off camera.
Done, son. Oh, sorry. So Ian, I was like, okay, how many threes are you gonna roll today?
Oh.
Can you throw a couple more ones in there?
Okay. So, what happened last week is that you dealt with Jason's funeral and all that sort of thing, and getting back into the game. Came out that basically because of ruining the plan of Excalibur, that they put a bounty out on you and the Magpie in general. That you then had to sort of get rid of the Magpie. Luckily, the person you've been working for, Celestia Serrano, on behalf of Pike's like kind of covert ops team, was basically like, we have this ship designed for hunting pirates and bounty hunters, and you are now in charge of it. Although you had to say goodbye to Tomaz, who sailed off in the Magpie to stories unknown in the future. Maybe we'll see him again. This session ended with your ship, the Emblem, chasing down a bounty hunter simply known as Rich Girl, who you actually completely wrecked. She split a fighter off from her basically, it's like a pleasure yacht ship, and you destroyed that fighter in like glorious display while Tomaz and the Magpie, single-handedly crewing the ship, spooked them away from actually damaging the entire system. Then you started chasing the civilian ship that the Rich Girl is in, which is essentially, meant to look like it's not designed for combat, meant to be sort of like, a travel pleasure yacht type thing, but definitely had some weapons. You did some serious damage to it, but the ship started burning down to the planet that you were fighting above. You were fighting on one of the moons of Quartos, and the session ended with their Rich Girl ship dipping into the atmosphere of Quartos, and I asked the question whether you were going to chase or going to call it a day. That's what hell of a Freudian slip.
Excuse me. You're gonna chase them, or are you gonna give up like a what?
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 You're making that be that.
Excuse me. Just because I'm the captain. Just up, Ollie. Just up.
No, it's the future. It's cool to be gay now. Come on.
It's been cool to be gay for a long time.
That's what it is now. It used to be that people said gay as an insult, then you weren't allowed to say gay at all, and now you're allowed to say, like, everything's gay and it's a good thing. That's how it works. Just imagine how it'll be in several millennia.
So, with all your terrible
Oh my god, I love him. He's such a queen.
all your terrible speaking and whatnot, just have a little look at that little thing where you've listed everyone's names.
Yeah.
Just read my character's name.
Providence Ballarat.
Providence Ballarat.
No.
Ball art.
Yeah.
Ballart.
Thanks, bro.
Is this how we're starting this stream? So, you do Ollie's way. Let's go chase the bad girl.
You don't clap that up much. That's too many claps. Excuse me. For fuck's sake. Okay, so. God damn it. You start chasing. Yeah, I can't change that. That isn't something I can factually change until next week. You do realize that. That is a JPEG.
Oh, you do that as a JPEG.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sad.
I can't change that until next week. I can change the one in chat, but I can't change the one on the fucking overlay.
It's fine.
Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry.
No, it's not like that on the overlay.
Yes, it is.
Unless you mean like where where Will was.
Yeah.
It's almost like I copied and pasted.
I only have chat open. I don't have the stream. I just have chat.
I can change it while we're like doing things. So
yeah, it's not a big deal. Not a big deal.
You started chasing the crashing ship into the atmosphere of Quartos. Quartos is a magma world that is rich in mining opportunities, which is why all the moons are colonized, because people send mining groups down and a lot of automated mining. The second that you start rocketing into that atmosphere chasing, you have a hard time. The ship is shaking and rocking, and all this sorts of alerts go off. Your ship actually does have atmospheric configuration, which means it can go into atmosphere, it can go into gravity wells. But this, the outer cameras of the ship will show, you're just going through plumes of black smoke where there's firestorms and lightning and extreme chaos that your ship can handle, but only for a certain period of time. You can tell that Anna, your pilot, is actually struggling to keep control of the ship. The ship is shaking. You're doing a bit of a Star Trek moment. which you.
Okay, so two things.
Thank you.
One, I assume that they also have atmospheric configuration because they're a bounty hunting vessel.
You assume based on the design of the ship, most likely.
Yeah, and also the purpose of the ship. So even though they had the fighter, I mean, the fighter's not for transporting on and off world from a bigger ship like this. And then secondly, it's one of those things where obviously it's going to be a bumpy ride, at least as we enter into atmosphere, because we're going in at a faster speed than should be safe onto a planet that's already hot, working
speed.
your heat shields. Yeah. So I understand that's already dangerous, but once we like mellow the F out and are fully integrated into the atmosphere, is this one of those things we're staying down here, we're putting at risk our brand new baby of a vessel? Or okay, it is.
Well, you don't know. Your ship is
yeah.
designed like this is a corrosive planet, Scott. In rules wise, where being out in atmosphere, dangerous, but your vac suits can handle it for a limited amount of time. Your ship can handle it depending on how you land, or if you don't even land, for an amount of time until not, essentially. Usually it'll be fine. Your ship's new and pretty well made.
So what I would do is, as we're like really hitting the bumpy part, I would toss like I'm not worried because it is a state-of-the-art vessel. I'm going to toss like a sideways glance over to the prior captain, the master of the vessel, if you will. I will toss a look over to him to see if he shows any signs of concern whatsoever.
He actually wasn't in the bridge until you started going into atmosphere because he had nothing involved with the fighting of the ship. When he's probably actually like behind your seat because your seat overlooks everyone else in this chamber, unlike the other one where you actually were looking away from everyone else. And he does show some concern, but ultimately, if you aren't you are used to ship combat and being on ships a lot. This guy, based on the history that you've read about, is not a Navy captain of any kind. So going into this much turbulence is spooky. It's like if you don't travel by plane a lot. If you travel by plane a lot, the regular turbulence isn't going to spook you. But if not,
he probably understands the schematics well enough to know its tension levels or whatever. It's like stress levels, but doesn't know how to do the quick calculations in the moment. So okay, cool. So if he seems to have like typical he don't got sea legs kind of reaction, then I'm not too concerned, and I say. Can we get a beat on them?
You know
to whoever my comms officer
Your comms officer is Henrique.
I actually have to write that down, who's in which position, so I'm going to do that right now. Comms is HENRICKEEEQUIE. Okay.
QUE.
All right. And I obviously know that Anna is pilot.
Yep.
So that's the same as always. I know who the gunnery is. What's the other girl's name?
Miria has no bridge roll.
Oh, that's right.
She would be guns
if Rain isn't on guns. She would be engineer if you weren't on engineering. She's kind of a fill slot.
Yeah, she can kind of.
She won't be great at them, but she can operate them when none else is.
I mean,
it's questionable whether Rain's great at guns, but
that's what I was gonna say. I mean,
but you're an actual fucking person.
Yeah, exactly.
And Prov is on engineering.
So comms, pilot, engineering. That leaves the last position.
That's it. Isn't it?
No, there's one more. This is 5 positions.
You're captain.
So commander, comms, pilot, engineering, and
Guns.
Oh, duh, which we've already said 4 times, including myself. Okay, cool.
That's why.
Thank you.
Well, ultimately, it was going to be something you'd already said.
Yeah. That was me being dumb. Is rain spelled with an E? Remind me.
No, it's the word rain.
Okay, cool.
Rain is spelt like the rain falling from the sky,
which right now is fire. So your communications officer, who's very confident, has a little less confidence as he's sort of beeping and booping away at the screen, and he's like, not exactly. There's a hell of a lot of smoke, but I think when we get, they were on a collision course, right? If we get down there with them, they'll be easy to find. He kind of like looks to you, and then looks to the other captain, then to you. The other captain nods, because that makes sense, and you would also probably agree.
Mm-hmm. I don't nod. I just let his point linger.
Yeah. And he still is doing things, it's just he can't get a beat on them right now. The main event right now is going to be that as you go through the atmosphere, actually Anna has to give you a piloting roll. But first of all, we need a command from the captain. Are you going to land, or are you going to go low and sort of hunt?
I intend to. We don't need to necessarily land. We just need to. Like, while I would love to steal parts off this vessel, we're probably past that because of this planet. We're not going to be able to really scrap it while on this planet. If we can just destroy this vessel, we'll be good.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're just going to try and go low. We'll see. Wait, no, she's actually got a character sheet. I can roll in the open.
I don't believe you.
I didn't have time to make character sheets for the other NPCs, but
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
I'm not worried.
Uh-huh.
With a 13,
Holy moly.
it could have been much worse if she rolled real bad. You go through the worst firestorms of the atmosphere of Quartos and breach through the other side. This ship, she's not used to it. You've ultimately been fighting in it you've been traveling in it for a couple of hours, so you had that fight, but you were practicing beforehand. She manages to angle the ship with the small sort of adjustment thrusters in such a way that you can basically spear through at a great speed through all the cloud cover. And when you're past that, she sort of goes and goes into sort of a hunter mode. This ship is very much, as you saw in the art, is kind of like a hunter vessel.
So
awesome. It can start
so funny.
strafing
I almost
and
imagine,
traveling.
Sorry, I almost imagine like as it's hitting this mode, much like how Slave 1 has that like cruising, and then almost like it flips into.
It would definitely like
method.
raise up. It would actually open up back this way because some of the guns are on its underside. But
Yeah. So almost like how a Hornet like cruises, and then a Hornet like prepares for like when it's defending its territory. Yeah, cool.
The Hornet would be a very appropriate name for this ship, actually.
We haven't named it.
No. Well, it has a name, but you could rename it. As the captain, right? So you start going into this hunter mode. Why don't you do me a favor, Rain, and give me a notice? It's going to either be intelligence, wisdom, or that's it.
All right. Intelligence or
Rain.
wisdom. Oh, sorry.
Well, it's certainly not going to be noticed.
Actually, you could do it as well, Scott, because you have kind of everyone's screens on your screens, so it's entirely reasonable you'd be able to sort of basically watch through other people's cameras and catch something that you don't. So you can also give me a notice check.
A roll as well, because if I have... I'm...
7's real good, actually.
Yeah, it's okay.
I rolled snake eyes. That's critical. But luckily you're there. So
as you go through this cloud cover
safe.
and you get into hunter mode, the view of this planet is actually hauntingly beautiful. Of this magma, of this almost underformed world that you can still see. There's occasional like sort of mining facilities that you see dotting the landscape that have proper shielding to protect them from the actual incredible heat of this place. But the actual view of like raw magma bubbling and constantly moving and flowing like slow rivers is actually pretty fucking beautiful. And Davis, being a slightly sentimental guy, real deep down there, actually maybe gets a little distracted by the view. Whereas Rain is actually basically using the camera on the guns, swiveling them around, trying to look around. As a communications officer, isn't getting too much. They're trying to do something that would be involved, getting beacons and things. Whereas you can just go, oh. And Rain, after a few moments, actually gets a visual of their ship crashed. Like hardcore crashed into like where there's two spires of rock and it's kind of wedged in between. Looks like it almost could have gone through maybe if it turned perfectly, but they were crashing. When they were actually going towards the planet, they did make quite a few repairs to their vessel, so it's not like a complete smoldering mess. When you go, oh, I've got it, and the comms officer actually starts scanning the ship, it's clear that the ship, the reactor's still operational. Most of the ship's still operational. It's basically just stuck, which sucks because you aren't getting out of that. So what is the plan?
I mean, we found it though, so that's the important thing. I say, can you lock on the target?
Probably. I mean, ain't moving anymore.
if you want to just destroy it from your weapons, its only weapon is a front-mounted thing. So, and it's wedged like downwards. So you would essentially end up giving me a shoot dex check, not a attack roll, to kind of
course
cover it all up.
Yeah, because it's almost like a range shot, like the shot on a range supposed to. Yeah. So I say, then do so, and then almost like as a last thought, I say, but hold fire. I'll stand there contemplating, or sorry, sit there, probably at the edge of my seat, hand gripping at the side, contemplating for a few moments, and then I'm gonna say, Prof.
Yes, Cap.
You're the mechanic, yes? Engineering officer?
I suppose so.
That ship right there, how do you think its life support's holding up? What's the likelihood that there's survivors?
You can give me a... I'm just looking at the stats. This could be a no check, or a notice check, or a fix check. Either intelligence or wisdom.
Well, no, wisdom. Their reactor's online, so I'd say yep. They're probably still there if they didn't die from the initial impact.
Yeah, that's basically your thought process, right? They definitely still have life support. You can see the life support. That's how life support works. You don't really... This planet's on fire, Prov. So, that does throw some things up into the air. But, actually, of the type of tech stuff you're used to dealing with, machines overheating, even to extravagant degrees because they're overworked and the sun on your planet can be pretty freaking hard.
When there's a lot of sawdust in the air.
So yeah, he basically thinks so.
Yeah. Their death is inevitable.
Yeah, they're pretty stuck there. Probably gonna, unless someone comes and saves them, say this planet's probably gonna do them in sooner rather than later.
They sealed their fate when they took their task. We're all familiar with how that works. However, it's their black box that I'm interested in.
I mean, you went on camera with them. So that's presumably on record.
It's more than that. It's what other information they might have. Backtracking, more than just finding what we have of ourselves. We can just destroy that with destroying the vessel.
So you're saying you want to board the thing? Get the black box?
I don't want to put any more crew at risk.
I'll do it, boss. Drop me in, I'll tear that thing apart.
I can go with him, make sure there ain't anyone hanging around, as it were.
And at that point, Anna will turn around and be like, I brought the armored vac suits you bought when we moved aboard. They'll be able to take a few bullets, and they'll be able to take the firestorms out here. Might be able to fly above and drop them down.
The black box on that vessel, I say, as I start, it's almost like I'm thinking out lound as I start, like,
as a captain, you should,
the ship.
Right?
Yeah. As I'm scanning the ship and whatnot, I'm like, the black box on that vessel, where do I think it's located? I'm kind of like pulling up information.
That is a no int check, yes.
Anybody able to give me a bonus on that? As to with the search is just raw.
I could give you a +1 because you actually have like the scan data of this ship, both old and new, because like damaged and present.
Okay.
So this ship is a little strange because you don't know as much about civilian ships as you do about military ships, but you are the kind of person who would spend time on like websites about like different ship specifications, and also you have the scans.
It's like reading the paper in the morning.
Yeah, no, to be fair, in a world of spaceships, that's pretty fucking interesting.
My character also reads a lot.
Exactly. So, you try to remember trends, and ultimately this is a custom-made ship. A lot of pleasure yachts are, and this had to have been, because not only does it have concealed weapons, it had a fighter tender mounted to it. So you're looking through it. Often in these kind of military, in small military ships, the black box is in the bridge. This one, actually, the black box is in what is essentially like a sort of rec room, a recreational chamber, where often designed for like meetings or meals and things, assumedly so that you can immediately like bring data down from it onto the table and, you know, have a whole discussion about it, right? Which is actually kind of in the middle of the ship, where you've got the bridge in the front, and that would be in the middle, which would be one of the areas that is still mostly together. The whole sort of back of the ship, which if I think is the aft, and I really should know all the ship part names, but I just can't get them in my brain.
Bow, aft, port, starboard.
The aft of the ship is pretty wrecked from the fire that you attacked from it, plus going into atmosphere. That's the stuff that's stripped up most. The middle of the ship is mostly intact, but as you're looking at the scans, it's actually Rain in the last fight used the multifocal laser on like the core points of like support beams, and so there are some areas that are destroyed. So that area of the ship might be semi-wrecked.
Okay, so obviously that'd be a little bit of a concern, but I would turn to Anna and say, the armored vac suits, how long would they survive this environment if somewhat shielded by being within a vessel, functioning or otherwise?
I would say on the surface, you'd be lucky if you pushed an hour. I think in that the cover of the vessel, you might be able to go past that. Kind of looks at Rain and Prov and be like, depends how advanced you are with your suit usage. But at least an hour. And that would be enough time to get in there and strip the black box easy. Rain's done it in seconds before.
Let's not... let's see if we can put the odds in our favor, both with time and resistance. Rain, can you pinpoint a shot at their bridge? Just a single shot. See if we can take out their bridge. Reduce the numbers.
Give it a go.
That will be a shoot dex check.
Meanwhile, Anna, if you can appropriately coordinate to, we'll try to use their docking bay. Not the docking bay, like their airlock.
Yeah. She will start basically, you know, an approach. Start scanning while she swings around the front, because you were kind of looking on the back, because you basically chased it and it crashed. Go around the front where it's wedged between these two spires of rock. And Rain, you just use the freaking repeaters on this new ship and just start blasting at the front of the ship, which, yeah, it was more armored than the rest of the ship, but it's a sitting duck. It just starts being shredded. You see small explosions. The actual whole ship just slumps and moves a bit because you are even destroying large chunks of the rock in this area. And it does start sliding a little bit, but after a few moments it does settle again. But it does lead you to give you that thought of like, oh shit, this thing's unstable, you know, too much movement on it might make it start to tumble.
Gonna want to keep all the cables on us while we're in there by the looks of it. Don't want to go sliding into this planet, that's for sure.
And at this point, Anna will fly the ship over to the top of their vessel, and after a couple of quick beep boops, will be like, no way we can use their airlock, but we can drop them. We can align our airlocks and we can just drop them right down. You'll have to cut it open, of course.
I look to the crew or captain, whoever I think would know better the equipment on the ship for doing something like that.
You have every ship has, you know, the cables for the vac suits, so that's not a problem. They can allow you to go more than enough distance. Cutting through, this ship doesn't have any sort of specialized cutting equipment, but one of your characters does.
Yeah, I have a advanced cutting tool.
Plus, given time or hacking, there are many ways to open an airlock and stars are outnumbered. But he has a freaking tool for the purpose.
Yeah, but it's also a matter if we don't really have time. So
exerting yourself to do those sort of things might cost oxygen and just sort of the suit's, you know, power.
Okay.
But, you know, and the other option, of course, is to try and sort of drop them in to the wreckage, but that would be more unstable.
So we took out the bridge, theoretically finishing them off. The coup de grace to keep them so that it's not a slow, painful death, right? So we took out the bridge. We're going to align them up, as Anna suggested, trusting her roles here, to make that happen, to drop the two of them inside their armored suits. The last thing I would want to do is, because he's suiting up, so he's obviously occupied, I'd ask our backup engineering person, can you get me a good read on their the status of their ship and whether or not we're going to have to be dealing with reactor failures or any other issues?
Yeah, she will just sort of, as Prov, starts putting on this armored vac suit, which, by the way, totally has to look like the Dead Space suits, right? It's the only thing that makes sense. And she starts kind of scanning it and is like, well, their reactor's online, so there's no leaks or anything like that. It's just that this whole area is unstable, like too much. If you cause an explosion down there or something does explode, then shit's fucked, Captain.
But nothing. But what I was asking is that it doesn't seem like anything is currently on the verge of overheating or exploding. Okay.
Yeah. The reactor's stable. If you wanted to be even happier about that, you could turn it off. But then that's a more time, you know.
Nope. As long as it doesn't look like it's going to blow up on its own. Okay.
The bigger worry is the ship falling, and
yep.
This is a magma planet, so.
It's funny because that was my next thing, because I imagined as that scan was being done, they were finishing suiting up or whatever, and so
yeah, that was in the same scan where basically it's unstable. If there was any sort of a big explosion or big movement, there's a chance. There's a chance this thing could fall.
Okay, so when they're finally done suiting up, whatever, one of the things I'd say to them would be like, all right, listen, the goal is the black box. We're not looking for anything else. If you find something else, that's fine. Don't be greedy. Don't risk your lives for something that isn't important. The most important thing about be aware of your surroundings. The ship is not stable. It's resting, and it could slip at any point. Come back if you think it's too dangerous.
You got it, boss. I'll keep eyes out for any survivors.
The best thing about that is you definitely were checking your rifle while you said that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That makes me very happy.
Yeah, we'll be right back, I guess.
And at this point you can actually go, and I actually do have a JPEG of the new ship thing that I'll have to do. It's a very quick doodle I did just so you can, but I'll give that to you next time. She will essentially make sure everyone straps down. Your ship is tilted just a bit, because this is an airlock on top of their vessel, where assumedly connected to where maybe their ship to mount might be, for maintenance and stuff. But you just sort of tilt your ship, and you can jump out. In these vac suits, she doesn't have to do a roll to do something like that. You leaving the airlock for two of you doesn't require any sort of rolls. When you do, your bodies are immediately hit with a wave of heat, and your these very high quality, barely never used armored vac suits immediately start beeping with just like No Man's Sky, heat levels rising, heat danger, and will sort of have a slightly fluctuating timer that is more or less an hour, but will be, it'll go up, and when you actually jump down and get more of the heat, it goes up for a bit. When you land on the ship, it goes down a bit. It's a fluctuating thing. It's going to give you an idea of how long you can last. You two can easily jump on the airlock.
When Prov suits up, he's going to pull down his low-light goggles.
I think that's entirely reasonable.
Yeah, I will as well, actually, just in case.
Yeah. Which is good, because this planet is there's fire everywhere, but that casts, big dramatic shadows, so actually low-light goggles is going to be very useful. This airlock, you can literally both jump on top of it, because it's designed to hatch either the actual fighter itself, and then you go in and then dislocked, or it's a maintenance hatch. Kind of hard to tell completely from your here, but you two can both literally stand on top of it. It's got sort of like a toothy mouth that is wedged shut.
So Prov reaches to the small of his back and pulls out. It's like a small little hatchet, and as he pulls it out, it extends out to sort of double-handed axe shape size, but the top is more blunt and more just like a maul. He raises it up And he takes a big swing, and it clunks into the metal, and he twists the bottom, and you see like this shape slide back slightly, and you hear a grinding, and sparks start flying as he starts.
Give me an exert strength or constitution.
Well, I know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, because constitution is entirely irrelevant because you're basically holding it in place. While he's doing that, Rain, are you going to be doing anything, or are you just kind of like checking?
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye out.
Awesome. So this is not an instant process. As you start, actually, give me a fix, int or wisdom check, Prov. A 2-part check.
Oh no, a 1.
So you don't ever want to see a 1. As you start hacking down, it's one of that which check would be simply whether you could figure out, the right places to cut to maybe open it early. But no, you are just brute forcing this thing. Maybe even make a couple of extra hacks to start cutting the metal up in other parts. Now, luckily, you're on a freaking magma planet where it's already lowering the integrity of all the metals and things. Unfortunately, it's a freaking airlock on the outside of a ship. It takes a good deal of time to cut through. Your suit timers go down a significant amount, around 15 minutes. And in that time, you hack open enough of a hole that you can actually drop down into the other side of the airlock. If you so wish, opening the airlock from this side is entirely easy, like just with a couple of button presses, because the ship, they didn't have enough time to go like, oh, we're going to be boarded and put like the defenses in place, where you'd have to hack it open. No, they don't. The ship doesn't know it's being boarded, so you can just pull down a hatch and open the airlock into the ship. Now, this does go on to the top floor of the ship. You want to be a floor below. Pretty much actually directly below where you are right now is where you think the black box is.
So after like they've been in there for like 5 minutes or so, however, boat route when they would be finished cutting through, that's when I just double check the comms, the frequencies, and then be like, testing comms, testing to make sure that we have a clear frequency.
It'd be one of those things where definitely because of this atmosphere, it's garbled, but you can understand each other.
Okay.
We hear you, boss. It's a bit of noise, but we hear you well enough.
I was concerned about there being a little interference. Listen, unless there's something important to say, even if there's not anything important to say, ping me every minute and a half or so. Let's make sure we always have comms.
Got it.
Got it, boss.
Instead of having push to talk on, you keep it on. Yep. We all have that, friend.
I don't push to talk.
No, I don't either. But
Yeah,
some
fuck
people
that.
just don't know how to set up their Discord. Anyway, so you can open the airlock from the inside, opening it up. Not only does this open you up into the inside of the ship, but also allows, the atmosphere to start streaming in. Just this sort of a wave of heat that follows you, because it's immediately cool, and then because the atmospherics do slightly work. What's your game plan?
Do we want to just dig through another hole, or walk round? We can try and go quiet or loud. Sorry.
Figure it's probably best to go round, save digging through again. I don't know. I figure that they'll probably have heard anything. Know we're here, but we might as well go quiet as much as we can. Can't hurt.
So you're gonna start going around, because Scott had that amazing no check. I'm not gonna give you any kind of rolls or anything to get around the ship. It's even one of these things. These vac suits are advanced enough. You probably even have, like the rough idea of what this ship's design is on your display.
Oh, is it like part of almost like a mini map on your HUD? Oh, that's cool.
Because you had such a good check
Yeah,
and scan
yeah.
and stuff. So you can easily find a way to a stairwell down. As you go closer to that, you have to go closer to the bridge. And you can see, there might have been several sections that before the bridge, but it's just Swiss cheese. It's just there's massive holes going through, there's molten metal dripping, there's bodies that are just on fire because they weren't in proper vac suits. Both of you give me perception, notice, wisdom checks.
They really should have,
Gone to grey alert.
put on a vac suit, man.
That's grey alert. Rain, you notice that actually there is a caddy of vac suits on the wall where there is noticeably one missing.
One vac suit shot, Prof. Might be a survivor around. Keep a close eye.
All right then. And he like readies up the axe.
Yeah.
Rain doubles up with the. Oh dear.
So you can see now, while it's opened back, so like 2 of the metal plates have slid back, so it takes on a more traditional axe shape, and revealed are 4 cutting blades. They're not currently spinning, but it's like, yeah, I would not want that put in or anywhere near me.
No. Yeah, no. No, you don't. And then you can start going down the stairwell down to the bottom floor. At this point, you're starting to go through areas that are, mostly collapsed and falling apart. So I do need both of you to give me exert dexterity checks. You do have harder modifiers because I'm not going to give you negatives or minus anything, but just bear in mind it's harder than normal because vac suits.
I'm not going to be able to get back to that.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
So it's one of those things. You're going quiet, so it's not like you hack away at parts that are getting in your way. But you start, pushing parts of metal. Okay, it starts creaking. The entire ship is creaking. On stream, I have like a storm noise constantly going on because it's loud in here, and even like the armored vac suits, it's streaming it through in such a way it's horrible. But you can Prov starts removing parts. Anything that gets in your way, you get out of the way. Especially when you start getting to this is even though it's a bounty hunting ship, it's still clearly got some of the pleasure yacht sensibilities, like knocked over tables and things. There's a pool table that you just sort of shove out of the way with a big thrust that was blocking the way, and you can go with ease with those checks into the big recreational / meeting room. It's like a casual meeting room, the kind of one you'd have at like a Google, where it's like really nice and fancy.
There's a slide.
Yeah, there's like a bar in one corner. There's a bunch of chairs that are like, so it's like one of those like booths, but it's a big curve. And there's a big table in the middle that's mostly intact, because it seems to be of a much sturdier construction. In ships, some things are clearly designed to stay put. Most of the things in the ship weren't. The bar, all the bottles are like crashed inside. Some places the glass case are like put together, and some places they're completely shredded. That table is mostly together. There's like flickering screens, but this room is in mostly good nick aside from being thrown around a lot. And the black box is in here somewhere.
So one of the things I also wanted to do while they were heading their way in after we did that test, I just keep not wanting to.
No, totally. Like moment to moment.
I would have said to Heinrich, like after we did that, ping us every 90 seconds. Henrik, sorry. I wrote on here, somebody please spell. I said spell, and somebody wrote prestidigitation, and I was like, touche. Anyways, I said to Heinrich.
It's like the like.
I just put it in Roll20. Read it and get back to me.
See, Neil knows how to spell names.
Okay, so
he's usually, to be fair, Neil is usually real good at translating like fantasy Ollie names. He's pretty good at that.
So Henrik, I say, Henrik, triangulate, get a bead, and see if you can follow them through the vessel. I understand that. Like, I don't say this out loud, but I know that it's going to be something hard for him to do.
No, that's actually pretty easy.
Okay.
That's one of the ones that like he doesn't even need to roll for that because of the vac suits and they're tethered. So it's one of those things where, and because of your check as well, you actually can have a big hollow display.
Just brings up the app on his phone. Find my vac suit.
I would also say that in addition to the pings, when I noticed that there was a vac suit missing, I would have let Davis know.
Oh yeah, it was on all comms, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was on all comms.
Yeah, we're not using push and talk.
Exactly. So you because it's a state-of-the-art ship, holograms aren't incredibly common, and it's not like a freaking Stark thing where you can properly interact with them. But you would probably have it like a big 3D display in the middle of the bridge for the people who are still there.
So
see them quite clearly where the black box should be.
When you say tethered, do you mean like literally physically still attached by wires? They didn't disattach when they got inside and hook them on the outside of the hull here or something like that? They still have it attached to their suits and... That's cool if they can.
The standard
honestly,
protocol is to keep it attached to the suits. I'll just basically tell you when you go too far.
Sure.
But...
Attaching it to the ship's a bit dodgy as well, because if it slips, our ship has to either hold that ship up or go with it.
Yeah, you do the release.
And if you so wish, you can pull them back from here as well.
At like a breakneck speed and break all
There's several speeds.
Bottom one is just like death.
You just get a corpse back. But yeah, you have that. Is there anything you wanted to do with it, or you just want to, you now know where they are at all times?
I just wanted to make sure I can keep a track of them.
Okay, so now that you're in the rec meeting room, what's your plan, scavengers?
We saw the big table, right?
Mm-hmm. It's the main
which was
focus point.
Okay, was it toppled? I can't remember.
It is perfectly in place. It's basically built into the room. So
in that case, I'll climb on top.
Mm-hmm.
And should be around here somewhere.
I'm just going to be on guard below around him with the gun, same as I've been doing.
You can give me a fix, wisdom or
That's fine.
intelligence. Yeah, it's just I'm trying to think of all which would make sense, And always feel free, as always, to suggest something else if I don't bring it up. With that, Prov, have you ever interacted with a black box before?
Well, I mean, the tractors have to keep a track of everything that's gone on.
It's much bigger than one in a tractor when you find it, and it is in the roof there because of like a projection system.
Just hear Prov like whistle through his teeth.
She's a big one.
You unhook this big, computer chunk that is, pretty much higher quality than anything you've really interacted with. Same sort of quality as the other black bots you've interacted with the rest of the party. You can carry it. You can't really. You'd have to hook your thing back onto your back. So it's up to you whether Rain or you have it. Rain, give me a notice wisdom check. While this is going on, while you're bringing it down and unplugging it and stuff, which is easy enough to do.
Here's the sneak roll. He's making a sneak roll.
With a -2 because vaccine. It's actually because of the -2. You actually.
Otherwise, he was about to assassinate you.
Also, bear in mind, I can't be surprised.
That's very useful, actually.
I keep forgetting you have that. I'm being very good at remembering my rangers have that in my D&D games. I need to remember that. So that's actually totally involved because you would hear this person coming a bit beforehand. Not that they're being careful. You don't have any way of sensing their life signs or anything like that. But you have not only this uncanny feeling that makes you pay more attention, and you actually notice your vac suit's telling you a slightly colder area that's moving, which is actually someone else's vac suit. When you work out how to you can adjust how the scanners work on an arm panel and stuff. And they are approaching this room. But you are close to the door, of course.
Okay.
At least the doors that still function properly.
I am pointing my gun in the direction that they are coming from. I am going to wait and see what they do, basically. I'm not going to preemptively open fire or shout or anything, but...
Thanks for telling me.
Well, it's one of those things. I imagine you are... So you can see that she starts raising a gun at a doorway, because you would kind of be standing looking towards the open doorway.
I mean, in that case, Prov would, as you say, the splitting axe would be back, folded back up on the bottom of his back, and he'd sort of take cover behind a table and hide.
Mm-hmm. Can you real quick give me an exert con or dex? This is would you take the black box with you, or would you just leave it there?
Yeah, no, I'd take it with me.
Then that's what this exert check's for. Just to move quickly,
Yeah.
With a big fucking honker of a boy. Yeah, easy. You just drag behind this table. Because it's secured here, it's actually greater cover. Rain, when you see this person come around the doorway, at first it's a little careful. And they actually have their light turn on when it's clear there's someone else in there, which you guys don't need. So you're actually traveling in like the gloom of like whatever screens are still on, like a typical, you know, horror ship in horror any kind of game. And they approach. They have a shotgun in their hands. They have a vac suit that also appears just as armored as yours, even slightly customized with the the lamp on the side and some other equipment. And just sort of, it's one of those like stalemate moments where this has happened many a time where, unless you shoot first, she's just kind of waiting.
Has it been 90 seconds and they haven't pinged yet?
Like we said, they're just on, like.
So we are doing it that way. Okay, that's fine.
It's you could also totally, because of technology, you could automatically set the things to ping as well. Like,
yep.
But yeah, this would be one of those like quiet moments because they would have all held their breath and stuff. So you would definitely like notice that.
Sure. I would send to them just because obviously I can't blow their cover or anything like that, and I know that they're in a dangerous scenario. I would send them almost like it literally would be like almost like a mechanical ping in their helmet. So like a ding, like something that would get their attention without requiring them to respond immediately.
I'm just what am I gonna do? I got range on you with this gun. Shotgun ain't gonna do as much to me as I can do to you. Put it down. You ain't gonna live through this if you don't.
Give me a talk strength check.
Henrik, get a beat in that room.
This isn't gonna work well. I'm not a talker.
As you hear that come through, the life signatures on that ship, like the inbuilt ship's scanners, don't work. Your scanners work perfectly. He actually gets the life sign. You can see exactly there, and he pings up the extra body there, and it's even close enough that the whatever models in this ship's database can put up someone in a vac suit with a shotgun. It ends up looking like a freaking XCOM scene, and I think with that real good 6, perfect place to go for our little hourly break.
Unacceptable.
I can't wait for Prov to run across the room and tear this person a new one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, vac suits don't deal well in melee combat.